Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us today to Book and Author's March National Reading Month free author visit. Today, we're going to have author Tam Luke read to us. So, Tam, the floor is all yours.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Syra. I am very, very excited to be here at the March National Reading Month free author visit. My name is Tam Luke, and I am the CEO of Deluxe Life Media and the founder of Women with Vision International. I'm very excited because we are celebrating Women's National History Month, and I'm excited to read one of the books that we created highlighting the many amazing women authors or women business owners. So you can go on to the next link if you want to. I have been in business for more than 20 years actually, but I own a marketing firm and I also help women publish their books to grow their business. One of the things I love to do on the next slide is really inspire women. And we have really a clear vision to empower women through personal growth, entrepreneurship, and networking. We've created a very strong community of women around the world. And I'm super excited to do so. One of the reasons why I support women is because women do have a ripple effect. Once they get good money, they will in turn invest it in children and in organizations in the planet, things like that. So I'm really excited to focus on women for that big ripple effect that they have. Go on to the next page. I'm also partnered with Book and Author, which is this literacy forum is certified nonprofit thought leadership series, and it's designed for educators, librarians, and PTO leaders. So I'm excited for these in-depth discussions about the challenges in education and sharing a little bit with you. I've created a complimentary downloadable worksheet for today. If you want to go to bookandauthor.com/events, you'll find today's event. And then there's a sheet. It looks just like that. Mapping Your Future Career Exploration worksheet is 2 pages. The reason why we created this sheet is because when I was in high school, one of my biggest question is, what am I going to do? It was so scary for me to figure it out. I was so nervous that if I didn't figure this out, the world was going to pass me by. So I created this worksheet to try to help you to work through some of your thoughts about what you really care about. So today's conversation, I will stop along the way and point out some things that I think are important for you. And this will be an interactive conversation. Okay, so first of all, I would love to see who is out there, if you don't mind. If you want to put the city that you are calling in from, that would be awesome. And that way we can kind of acknowledge your presence out there. Right now, you guys, if you want to know, I'm in Bangkok, Thailand. If you can imagine, it's in the middle of the night. And I am usually in the States, but right now I'm out here in Bangkok, Thailand, saying hi to all of you. I'm excited for you all to be there. Cyrus and over in Seattle, Washington, if anybody else wants to share. All right, go on to the next page. So we're going to jump. Oh, hey, Leah in Alabama. Very cool. Very nice. Welcome, welcome. Okay, so the book we're going to be reading today is called Phenomenal Women Who Boss Up. Okay, so this is one of the books in a 13-book series. I've worked with about 250 authors, and I chose this book because it is National Women's History Month, as well as this talking about as we were growing up, talking about figuring out what we want to do. One of the things that this author said just always struck me. You will win if you don't quit. Okay. So I think the point of this is no matter what you decide to do, just don't quit. Okay, so we're going to talk about this together. And like I said, I'll stop in between to chat with you about it. All right, go to the next page. Let's read. Okay, so first of all, you will win if you don't quit. Something to note about this book is these are a series of interviews with these amazing women. Okay, and there's some questions I'm asking them. So you'll see in bold, you'll see my question or my part, and then you'll see their part. Okay, and let's get going. Hey there, Superwomen. I'm so excited to have my next guest. She is an amazing therapist who specializes in trauma-related disorders. And this hits me very closely. My dad had mental health challenges. My brother went into the military and had mental health challenges. My guest, Lieutenant Colonel Dr. Shamika Scott, spent 15 and a half years in the military. And today, this happens to be a special day, Veterans Day. And I have to say thanks to you once again for your service and everything that you do in this world. I'm so excited to have this conversation today. All right, go to the next page. Okay, so Dr. Shamika, how are you? I'm wonderful. How are you? I'm amazing. I'm grateful for so many things for people in this world who do what you do. Tell me why you went into this field and also why you decided to do this in the military. All right, well, hold on to your seat. She says the old adage is that people generally go into psychology if they have a mental health condition themselves or family member who does, and so forth and so on. That's kind of my story. But I knew when I was in third grade that I wanted to be a psychologist. I give my first cousin credit for that because I wanted to follow her. She was my mentor. And she was the first person I ever heard say, I want to be a psychologist. And because I wanted to be like her, I just picked it up. Little did I know that I would actually like this field. I'm a spiritual person. And as I grew older, I came to know that this is my destiny. I believe wholeheartedly that this is what God has created me to do because of the passion that I have for people and specifically for people who struggle with mental illness. So I'm going to go ahead and stop. First of all, how many of you have a passion for helping people? Put a heart emoji in the chat. A lot of times when I'm talking to people, the reason why they decide to do what they do, a lot of them say, it's because I really want to help people. Okay, so you're noticing right at the start, she really wanted to help people. She also was influenced by a family mentor, which she called her mentor. So if you think about the person who really, really influences you, okay, you can go ahead and put that in the chat as well. If you can say your mom, your aunt, your cousin. I had a cousin who really, really influenced me that I followed a lot. So this is a key to some of the reasons why we end up doing some of the things that we do. Okay, I'll keep going. It takes so I say it takes a special person because I know I wasn't created that way. You need to be created with that kind of love and care and concern because it's not an easy field when you're dealing with people with trauma. I know we all are walking around with some level of trauma in our lives, but for you to be able to go in and work with this community, it has to be challenging, especially in the military with the people coming back from deployments and war zones. Next page. Okay, great. And they may have come into the military with things in their background, things that happened in their past, and it might be triggered by something else that happens in the present day or by the stress they are under. So Dr. Shamika says, absolutely. After my first tour to Iraq, I came home on what was called R&R, rest and recovery. I was home for 2 weeks and I said, you know what? I have to start a business. That was in 2011. I decided I needed to start a consulting firm because I was meeting people in and out of the military, more so in the military, who were not receiving the care they needed. That just propelled me and compelled me to start Mindset LLC. Okay, I'm going to stop here. I want you to notice one of the things that she said also was that she saw a need that she felt wasn't fulfilled. So how many of you put a 1 in the chat, want to be an entrepreneur? So I always wanted to be an entrepreneur, okay? And my dad was a very, very good entrepreneur. So what I learned from him was if you see a need and you fill it, that's how you start a business. So this is basically what Dr. Shamika is saying. She saw a need that wasn't being fulfilled, so she decided to start Mindset LLC. So go ahead and put one in the chat if you have even the inkling of thought that you want to start a business. So you want to be an entrepreneur. Okay, so let's keep going. I say, you offer counseling services to specifically help people who are going through challenges like grief and loss, anxiety and depression, panic disorders, and many other issues. So they can get the care they need and so they can have someone to talk to. Tell me a little about some of the people that you've worked with. So Dr. Shamika says, I'll tell you, I've been blessed to work with a lot of clients over the past 15 years. But I'll tell you one story. One day, I was in my clinic and the receptionist called me. A soldier had come in and he was so angry. He was so angry at his leadership. I asked him to come into my office and sit down. And after we talked, we're able to talk, and he was able to be heard. That was the key. He was able to be heard. He came back a couple of weeks later and he thanked me. He gave me a card and said, it's because of you that I did not do something catastrophic. I believe that it's God in me that allows me to touch people, but that really touched my heart because I could tell that he was in so much pain psychologically that day, and he was screaming silently. Okay. And then I say, screaming silently probably describes a lot of people. They're going through life, and one more little thing can just take them over the edge. With so much happening in the world, because with regard to COVID at the time, COVID pandemic, there was just been a lot of stress for people. And she says, yes, exactly. I experienced it as well. Oftentimes people think that you're in a mental health field, you are immune. But one thing I share with my clients is, honey, I bleed red just like you. Going through 2 years of COVID, I believe the isolation was the crux of the problem. It became difficult to wrap my mind around just being isolated and quarantined. That brought up a lot of anxiety for individuals. And what has happened is a lot of things that were suppressed came out because now we're not at work. You know, you don't have things to divert your attention. And now you got to stay home with your husband that you really don't like. And then I say, you know, that's right. There was a lot of divorce and separations happening during that time. Like, my God, I got to stay here with you. And Dr. Shamika says, right. And you're helping the kids with their homework. And you're like, I didn't go to school to be an educator. Help me, Jesus. But just all of that and not having an outlet, it was very challenging on both ends. And I say, tell me about some life and business challenges you have experienced that may have led you to the field, or something that you've gone through building this business. So she says, I'll give you two and start with the personal challenge. I have a brother and I love him. I love the ground that he walks on. I'm 6 years older, and in 2001, he was incarcerated, and that shattered my family. He's still incarcerated. That was probably the hardest thing that I had to go through, because not only did I have to be there for him, but for my mother as well. She struggles with depression, and he was her pride and joy. That was her baby boy, and it was grief. It was a loss. Although he wasn't physically dead, it was a death. That time was very difficult for me. But I learned a lot, because one thing I have discovered in this trauma work is that trauma can turn into triumph. I'm going to stop right there. There's a lot of us that go through difficulties in life, and I don't care how old you are, there's lots and lots of traumas that you go through. And you wonder, why am I going through this? But this is what she said. Trauma can turn into triumph. Some of the most successful people in life, because we're talking about success in life and careers and things like that, they did not have the easiest time growing up, okay? Or they may have gone through difficulties. But always remember what I'm saying. Trauma can turn into triumph, okay? She says there's a theory called post-traumatic growth. How do you grow from trauma? I'm happy to announce that my brother will be coming home soon, but just to see the evolution of my family, how that incident brought us together was profound. So that's the personal challenge. Professionally, it was just having to really becoming a psychologist. You understand what I mean? And I said, I do, because it's progressive. I'm still becoming, but in the initial phases, learning that craft and beginning to hear what's not being said, learning to honing those skills, it was challenging in the beginning. And then I say, it's one thing to go to school and get trained, but then you have to be in the field, as you said, honing your craft and getting the real world experience. What is inspiring you right now? Okay, so this is a really important question. And I want you to ask yourself this. What is inspiring me right now? What's inspiring me? Is it a teacher? Is it a class? Is it an assignment that you did? Is it your friend? Is it a sport you just got into? What is inspiring you right now? That's a really important question to ask yourself every once in a while, because then you go, oh, I never really thought about that. And that could take you to a whole nother thing. Also, if you're in a job, you get older and you're doing some kind of job and you're like, does this inspire me? Does this inspire me right now? Okay. What would inspire me right now? Okay, it's also a very important thing. So I asked, what is inspiring you right now? She said, so many things. I stand on the shoulders of my ancestors. And I told her I say that often. I was always a history buff, but to me, when I go into work and I put in my uniform, I stand on the shoulders of so many people. To say one thing that inspires me is next page, is a little difficult because there are so many. But if I had to choose one, I would choose this little old Black lady that came from South Carolina, my grandmother. My goodness, I lost her in 2015. She helped to raise me, and I love the ground she walked on. She inspired me. She had a sixth grade education, but she managed to raise her 4 kids without government help. Hey, if you need it, I'm not bashing it, but she managed on her own to own her own home with a sixth grade education. So if I had to pick one thing, it's her. I said, it's her. Amazing. What advice would you give another woman about being successful in this world, about building a business or dealing with doubt? What would you say? And she said, you'll win if you don't quit. So I want everybody to write that down. You'll win if you don't quit. I want you to put that on your refrigerator, or put that on your wall, or put that in your mirror, put it on your Facebook, or put it on wherever. I want you to write this down. You'll win if you don't quit. As I've gotten older, I can tell you that is one of the most important things you can keep in your mind. No matter what the difficulties are in your life, no matter what the traumas, no matter what the things are happening to you that you think is not fair, you'll win if you don't quit. It's one of the most important things. And that's one of the reasons why I read this chapter. And I say to her, say it again. She says, I got to remind myself of that sometimes in the morning. But you'll win, my grandmother used to tell me. She used to tell me that. She'd say, baby, you'll win if you don't quit. I love that. And that's what I would tell anyone just in life. You will win if you don't quit. Also, maximize your small victories. Today, I got up, I did my hair, and I did my hair and I put my makeup on. I didn't do it yesterday, but I did it today. And that's a small victory. It's baby steps. That's what I would say. and I say, I love it. This has been such a treat to talk to you today. Sometimes I talk to people and they just fill my cup up so fast. Thank you so much. Tell my listeners how they can find you. So then she goes on to share where she can be found, mindsetllc.com, gives her email address, and tells how she can connect. So I say, awesome. It's been a pleasure to have you here, Dr. Scott. Thank you so much. And I look forward to everything you're doing. We're going to be doing together this year. And she says, thank you so much. So what do you think is the biggest takeaway for you? So I saw something go into the chat as I was talking. Leah says her mother-in-law has been a great mentor. Oh, that's so good. I love that. I love that. Cyrus says, this was so much needed. Thank you, Tam. Very relevant and very inspiring. You know, it is. Thank you, Cyrus, for saying that. It is very relevant. So many people are going through difficulties and challenges and feeling bad about whatever's going on. And it's tough. It's tough. And you can get down because you feel like nobody gets what you're going through, or you think nobody else is going through it because you see all the whatever you see around you. But listen, people are going through some difficulties, and I tell you that's true. You don't have any idea, but you'll win. You just don't quit. That's the main thing, right? You'll win, and usually it's just the lesson that you have to learn, right? Is why you're going through the thing. And why is it repeating? Because you didn't learn it the first time. But you'll win if you don't quit. You just got to keep going through it. So I appreciate everyone who has any questions for me. I hope that was inspiring to you, and especially as you are thinking through your career, you're thinking through what you want to do with your life, if you want to become an educator, if you want to become an entrepreneur, if you want to go into marketing, become a medical professional, whatever it is, start paying attention to what is going on with you right now. Some of the things that you're inspired by, some of the things that you just enjoy doing on your free time. All those are clues into what you want to be. I have spoken and interviewed hundreds of entrepreneurs, hundreds of business people, hundreds of careers, lawyers and doctors. Just this book alone has, I think, 2 doctors, 2 lawyers, event specialists, coaches. I mean, it's just, a international financial advisor. I mean, just lots and lots of different careers I've talked to. And so thank you so much. This has been so fun. And if anyone has any questions, go ahead and put it into chat. Otherwise, share what you got the most out of, what was what has inspired you today to take, and what was the biggest takeaway. I think that's it, Syra. Thank you so much. And I look forward to doing this again.